What is going on, people? How is everyone doing? Welcome to episode 4 of Analog Allies, where I come up with 2 topics, Brett comes up with 2 topics, and we talk about said topics. Shout out to all of our channel members. I see some of them in the building already. DC Fat Cat, El Grug. If you are a channel member, you get special access to an after show of this where we hang out for about 30 minutes or so and take
Dude,
whatever.
gifted 30 months, Brandon.
No, he's a member for 30 months, you fucking idiot.
Oh, my bad.
Jesus, you interrupted my spiel.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I take it back.
Cut me off in the middle of it. I don't like the way my camera is positioned. That looks a little better, I guess. It looks pretty much the same. And if you are a member of the RGT squad or higher, you also get access to a bi-weekly, as in once every 2 weeks, special Q&A, just in case you missed the live shows. There's one question on the last one, so I'm going to wait until we get some more questions. So I will make another post about that. Do you want to try that again, Brett?
Yeah, I mean, he called me Brent, so that's
fine.
kind of offensive, you know? Like, that's the
But he's
worst
also
thing
a
you
member
can call
for
it,
30
Brett.
months. He's also a member for 30 months.
Damn, 30. Okay, so we got 2 OGs right here. That's great.
All right, so we're actually not going to start off with state of play because I feel like that's going to take up a majority of the time. But Brett has been playing Avowed. Avowed reviews went out today, sitting at about an 80-ish on Metacritic, which is, I mean, you know, that's pretty decent for Game Pass games.
Come on.
Is that not true?
I mean, there's lots of great games on Game Pass. What do you mean?
Games that come out on Game Pass day one. Name me name me 3 that don't include Indiana Jones or Forza.
3 that are great, or like 3 that are amazing?
3 that score over an 80.
Starfield.
Did it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Starfield Metacritic. I think it's 83, same as Spider-Man PS4. People forget these games were received well. They get hated over time, just like Halo Infinite's at like an 84 on Metacritic.
No one could fucking spell. We got Paconauts from Raspberry. We have Stairfield from Callenshaw. All right. So Brett, how are we bring out the best and brightest of our viewers here. Yeah. Brett, what are your thoughts on Avowed? I have not played it yet. What are your thoughts?
All right. Well, I've only put in like 2 hours, maybe even like an hour 45, because I wanted to play it all day, but I couldn't because I've been working and dealing with kids and whatnot. But I did like the opening section. First off, I couldn't choose between third person and first person. Like, I'm still going back and forth. I don't know which one to pick because.
Oh, I thought you meant you literally couldn't choose.
No. I mean,
sure
like,
it's a feature.
Yeah, it is. Like, I don't know which one I like more because first person has the perk of just not seeing the not very good animations that third person has, the janky combat and whatnot in third person.
Isn't there no water effects? Like when you walk on water, it does nothing.
I'm not sure. I didn't really pay that close attention.
Pay attention. I saw my friend Kofi made a video and he's walking through the water and nothing happened. There's not even a ripple.
I could picture that being a thing just because, like I'm saying, the game is obviously meant to be played in first person. Literally every trailer is in first person. So why they gave you the option to do third person is kind of strange because, like I said, the animations are kind of janky, like all of Obsidian and Bethesda games are, it seems like, in third person. Starfield was like the first Bethesda game that actually looked good. Like the character animations looked good in third person. And now this is Obsidian's whack at it, and it kind of just looks like how bad the Bethesda games looked back in the day. Well, not that bad. Like Fallout 3 is absolutely terrible in third person in terms of the animations. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a third person guy, so part of me loves, like I said, seeing the character and all that, but I might just switch it to first. That being said, this is one of the few games that in quality mode versus performance, I actually can see like a pretty substantial difference. And if I do quality mode in first person, 30 frames in first person makes me want to puke. I hate it. So that's why I'm thinking do third person in quality mode or do performance in first person. And I don't know which one to pick. But
I would do
anyway,
performance.
yeah, probably. On to the actual game. The story set up straight to the point. Like you shipwreck and you have to go figure out a way to leave this island, and you meet some people along the way. It already gives you like choice and consequences like right out the gate. So you don't really know if you can trust people. You might be taking a risk if you bring them in your party, and then they'll end up screwing you over later on. Maybe they do, maybe they don't.
Just like a woman.
Yeah, exactly. But like that's pretty interesting so far. As for the combat, it's serviceable. So right now, like I'm assuming it'll get more fun as I get more powers and abilities, but as of right now, it's not bad. It's just kind of bland, kind of I don't know, like just not that special.
Well, see,
But
from what I've heard, the story doesn't hold up, but the gameplay is what holds up. People like
really,
the combat. Yeah. Pretty much every video that I watched, and I only watched a few, but I did see a lot of tweets. Love the combat, love the world. But you kind of have to play like a substantial amount to enjoy the combat, like where the combat gets good.
yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah,
But
I'm gonna what?
I think it's kind of funny. And once again, I'm stealing this from Kofi in his video, but he mentions how the initial when we first got a look at Avowed to what Avowed is, it's like night and day. Like as
Oh yeah,
far as
that first reveal, you mean like
yeah,
that teaser?
the first reveal was all dark and brooding and all
Yeah.
this shit, and this world is like freaking like a journey to a savage planet, like color palette, like greens and blues and pink hues, and it's like, huh. I kind of wonder like what happened behind the scenes. Like, was there maybe a tonal shift in the game as well?
Definitely seems like it. I think. Well, I've heard that this game has existed in like a few different states. Like initially, their scope was to be like Obsidian's version of Skyrim, like that in terms of being that open and having that
Right.
much agency over the world. And then it was scaled down to open sections and not open world. And then it was at one point a multiplayer game. It was going to be a co-op like story game. And then that got cut out completely. And now it's a single player open segment game. And it has a way different art style than that initial teaser. So it seems like this game's been through like a whole different bunch of different like iterations before they finally settled on what it is.
Microsoft probably told them change their budget a few times as well. It's like,
Probably.
we're not going to give you as much as we said we were, because now we actually have Bethesda with who does Skyrim and shit like that. So we don't need you to make the Skyrim killer. I like Obsidian. I am actually a big fan of the Outer Worlds. I thought that was really good. That was them,
Same.
right?
I love the Outer Worlds.
Yeah. People love New Vegas. I never played New Vegas back in the day, and I played it probably a year ago or so, maybe a little longer. And I got to the town with like the Elvis guy or whatever, and I pissed off some of the town. So I'm like 5 or 6 hours in the game. I pissed off some of the townsfolk, and they started attacking me. And I entered a building to escape them. And right as I entered the building, I died. And so when I booted up my
I remember you telling me this.
my last auto save, it just automatically put me as I'm entering the building and dying over and over again. And I didn't do a manual save. And I was just like, no, like I had fun here, but no, I'm not replaying this at least anytime soon or anything like that. But Avowed, it looks fine. I probably will play it. As far as being a great game, I don't know. Still got a little bit of that Game Pass stink on it. And you know,
dude, you're just hating on. Everyone in the chat and me just gave you a bunch of great games that launched into Game Pass. I mean, A Plague Tale 2 launched into Game Pass, dude.
I'm talking about first party.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant all Game Pass games.
No. First party.
Well, now I got to look at a list.
While you do that, Zach Mack with a $1.99 dono. RG2, who wins in a street fight, you or John? Me. Because, and no, low FG2, John has never been in a fight. So what's he going to do? Like, those muscles ain't nothing. A street fight, we're not, you know, this isn't a sanctioned boxing match. You know, if I see a shard glass on the ground, I'm gonna stab his ass. Like, I don't fucking care. Kick him in the nuts. Like, it's fuck him. He probably doesn't even have any with all the roids he does. You got a list for me here, pal? I mean, I
Googled it, but
yeah,
it's
and
just
you got
a bunch of random. No, I mean, there's a bunch. Like a Microsoft Flight Simulator that was like one of the highest rated games that year that came out. The last one,
what did the last one do? Nothing, because it was broken as fuck at the launch of it.
But the one before that was amazing. Apparently, The Outer Worlds 1 launched into Game Pass whenever it came out. Now, keep in mind they weren't a first party studio whenever the game was being made, but when the game came out, they were first party.
No.
When the game came out, they were first party.
Anyway, does not count.
Didn't a lot of people love the last Wasteland game? Didn't a lot of people love
Wasteland? Everyone's talking about Wasteland.
Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was amazing. The campaign multiplayer. You keep moving the goalposts every single time I say a game.
I'm just saying there's a lot of Game Pass games that don't tend to hit well. And they almost feel a little bit undercooked when they come out, Halo Infinite, because of the fact that, hey, we don't have to worry about selling this game. It's coming out on Game Pass. It's a game that we can just add stuff to, like Sea of Thieves. And I will take my L in Sea of Thieves. I star in the official Sea of Thieves documentary, saying that I think the game will fail in 6 months after it initially came out. And I was wrong about it. That's fine.
I forgot you were in that. That's so funny.
Was. But yeah, so we got to talk about this state of play. Did you watch this?
Yeah, I watched it live.
I mean, third party wise, well, you know, I liked what?
So I had like my topic is state of play related, but it's also exactly what you're about to bring up. And I don't know if I should just say it now and we could just talk about this double the time.
I mean, if it's applicable.
It's very. Okay, so what I think is kind of funny and kind of ironic is we just got
and your kind of funny fandom. All right, we're not fans of kind of funny around here.
No. I'm just kidding. I don't watch their content. I haven't watched the content in years, but they're cool, I guess. But anyway, I think this is kind of ironic that we just had the Xbox showcase, and what did that have? 90% Xbox and PS5 games. And
Xbox is a different company.
And we
Xbox
just had
is a different
state of play.
Company.
When we just had the state of play. And what did we have? 90% PlayStation and 90% PlayStation games and the other 10%
Xbox? No.
Not on Xbox.
We
just watched two showcases that were all pretty much third-party games.
Xbox,
because Sony doesn't have first-party releases anymore. What do we get this year? Days Gone remastered. What in the Xbox, they just don't have exclusives anymore. So it's like every upcoming game. It's just multi-platform now.
Xbox is in a different position, and they at least admit, hey, you know what? It took them a while to get around to it, but now all the interviews are, hey, everything is third party. When I watch an event done by a company, I am expecting to see some of their games. I'm expecting to see some. I don't think that's asking too much. There have been state of plays that did reveal PlayStation games. looking at the list, we started off with Monster Hunter Wilds, which is a game that I have said I am tired of seeing this game. It's at everything. Like, we get it. It's Monster Hunter. It's going to be awesome. Stop showing me it. Shinobi, Art of Vengeance, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds were the next 2 games. A little Sega love in there. And these were 2 of my favorite games. I liked what I saw from Shinobi. I liked what I saw from Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. There's a closed network test happening for Sonic Racing Cross Worlds as well. What did Dreamcast guy give the state of play? I don't think he liked it, judging by his thumbnail.
You got it in first party, but PlayStation doesn't release first party games anymore.
Which is a whole nother topic. Digimon Storytime Stranger. You know?
Yeah, that's probably decent. I never played those.
I mean, Digimon are a company or is a brand that it's kind of like a cockroach. Like, you never think about it, but then you see it and you're like, you're still around? Really? Like, I don't know if they have like an anime or a cult following, maybe in Japan or something, but oh, they got mad about that, Adama. They got mad and they showed me a bunch of fucking games. They showed me 4 games and none of them have a release date. Lost Soul aside, now this is a PlayStation console exclusive.
Yeah, it's they like help fund the game. It's from China.
Have you noticed that a lot of games look like this now?
Yeah, I don't. It is kind of strange, but I like it more than every game being a Souls game. I miss like traditional action games, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like Bayonetta style, DMC style.
Yeah, but it just seems like now we're overcorrecting, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Because there's another game here that we'll talk about that, like,
which looks good though. It looks.
I mean,
awesome.
yes, they look good, but it's like, okay, all right. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Dave the Diver DLC. WWE 2K25. All right, now I got to complain about this.
Do it.
Fuck the island mode. That is the stupidest, worst thing that I've ever seen. Because all it is that shitty fucking bullshit from NBA 2K, that's My City mode, where they're like, hey, you could accessorize your person and buy this in-game t-shirt for real money. No. Money grab bullshit is all that it is. And the problem is with these modes, they end up it's like any sports game nowadays. They focus on the either the My City or My Island, My whatever, or the My Team mode where you got to buy the fucking cards. And it's like it's just monetization hell. Who the fuck cares that your character has a goddamn Nike swoosh t-shirt in game?
People care though. That's what sucks.
Go to Goodwill. Go to Goodwill and get a Nike t-shirt in real life for like $3, and then you can wear it. And when you're wearing it, you'll see that it doesn't fucking matter that you're wearing a Nike swoosh t-shirt. So if it doesn't matter in real life, it really doesn't matter in a video game. That pissed me off. Because all it's going to do is take away the focus from enhancing the gameplay. From what I've seen of the gameplay, it is pretty much the same as last year, which is okay to some degree. But the things that they've added, like the underground mode, which is like a ring with no ropes, the gameplay is still the same. It's not like an underground like fighting. Like, people are like, oh, this is going to go over your head and probably over most of the people in the chat's head. But like, oh, this is going to be like Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, which is an event that happens. It's put on by a promotion called GCW. That is a no rope ring, just, you know, an elevated ring and a mat. And what they do is it's kind of like a worked shoot fight. So almost like a little bit like UFC, you know, more focused on like holds and suplexes and tapping out and stuff like that. So that's what people thought this was going to be. It's just the same match without ropes. So it's like, what's the point? It's not going to be any more fun because there's no ropes. You have these weird NPC characters. And in the videos that I watch, sometimes because like there's NPCs around the ring that are like, they'll slap the mat and stuff like that. Sometimes they'll glitch into the ring and like you can't get rid of them. They just sit there and they glitch into the ring and then that's it. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, I will buy the game because I want to see. I want to fuck up people as Hulk Hogan online like we did with WWE 2K24. But like, I don't know, man. It seems the problem with a lot of these yearly iterations of sports games, wrestling games, some years they actually cook. They change things up. They do things differently. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But then you get these years of just like minor tweaks. And like the big new addition to this is just yeah. Like here, it's an island.
Yeah, the whole the island thing it sucks that like it's gonna probably be a massive success and people are gonna spend a bunch of money on like microtransactions and stupid shit, and they're just gonna keep leaning into that. And I just don't understand why those things are so popular. Like everyone I know on the internet hates it, but somehow it's a cash cow.
It's
like,
stupid fucking kids who need to be smacked in the head because nobody parents anymore. That's why I got all these fucking little mongoloids running around like monsters.
Yeah. Stupid it sucks.
Children. Borderlands 4 with Randy.
I'm not into that suit. Dude, Randy, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean, but why is he so unlikable?
Well, he's a piece of shit.
I mean, I'm not even talking about like the drama surrounding that. I just mean every time he talks, he's just not a very likable guy. I'm not trying to be mean, but
he just looks like a weirdo, and he talks like a weirdo. Like that whole segment was very strange. And the game, it looks like Borderlands. That's cool.
Yeah, there's a grappling hook now, so that's cool.
I don't know, man. I never personally got into Borderlands like that.
Me either. I tried. I played it on Vita, the best place to play it at 5 frames per second.
That's certainly a choice. Split Fiction, which is Joseph Ferris's new game.
Oh, dude, that's one of my most anticipated games.
I don't play Joseph. I like Joseph Ferris. His games don't interest me.
I just played through It Takes Two earlier this year or late last year. Well, one of those two, and it's so good. Even the second time through, I was just in awe at how good it is.
I mean, he's a good guy. I'm just not interested in his games. They just
you just need a friend. That's the problem.
Fuck that. Directive 8020, a game that I liked. I liked this game.
Was this the Supermassive game?
Yes. Okay. It's Until Dawn in outer fucking space. Which is fine. I think from what I've gathered from watching this trailer, I think it's more so going to be focused on, because if you played like Until Dawn or the Quarry and stuff like that, like most of your choices are for your character's survival. I feel like this game is going to be more focused on you potentially killing everyone on the ship because you don't trust them or something like that, or you think this alien thing has taken over. Dark picture games are either really good or really shit, in my opinion. And like, I because I've played some where I'm just like bored out of my fucking mind.
That's what happens to me. Like every time I just get bored and I quit early on, and I loved Until Dawn. I feel like they haven't topped that ever since.
Did you play The Quarry?
I started it and I just like,
Nah, The Quarry's kind of fire, bro.
I should keep going, but yeah,
you should. It gets good. It gets good, and the one of the chicks is played by Macaulay Culkin's hot wife.
Oh yeah, Brenda Song.
Yeah,
Yep, I loved her on Sweet Life back in the day. You were too old for that.
Yeah. Five Nights at Freddy's: Secret of the Mimic. Once again, another franchise where I'm like, who is playing this? Because you would imagine that the kids who grew up on Five Nights at Freddy's aren't fucking with it anymore. I don't really see many adults that are excited. Maybe it's the adults that are feeding it to the children with their litty Twitch streams and jump scares and shit like that.
My friend Brett, not me, a different Brett. His kids are obsessed.
Hot Wife Brett?
Yeah.
Okay.
His kids are obsessed with it, like the whole IP. So it's definitely a kid thing still, because they're like 8 and 13 or something.
The Midnight Walk.
Oh, dude, that game's visuals look awesome.
It looked cool. I wasn't thrilled with the presenters though.
I don't remember the presenters. I just remember the art style was awesome.
Yeah, it looks okay. I don't know. I probably won't play it. Darwin's Paradox. What the
was
fuck
that? The Konami game?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, how what are you
Konami's first new IP in like how long?
What the fuck is this, Konami? What is this? Who asked for this?
It looks all right. It just doesn't look like Konami would randomly fund this game. Like, that's what's weird about it.
Why are they randomly fund? Do you owe someone money?
I don't know.
Warriors Abyss.
Oh, that's out now, right?
Yes. Came out already. A Warriors game with roguelike elements.
Two of my least favorite genres combined.
Now, see, I don't mind Warriors games. As
long as the Zelda ones.
Yeah, the Zelda ones were good. Fire Emblem was pretty good. They gotta have characters. When you just have like a bunch of like feudal Japan people, like, you know, I'm not really studying up on my feudal Japan history, so it doesn't quite hit with me the same.
Yeah,
but Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny, getting basically in the treatment that Onimusha 1 got. I like this. I will be playing it on May 23rd. Looks good. I hope they do 3 though next. Which
the actor from 3 said that he'd be down. That's what I heard. Like, to return.
What was his name? Jean Reno or something?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Janet Reno.
Something like that. Yeah, it's a British guy.
Remember when Janet Reno killed a bunch of people in Waco, Texas? Branch Davidians. Look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, so like it was David Koresh. He was kind of like a culty guy or whatever. And like ATF and FBI like busted in. And like there was kids in the house and shit. They fucking killed everyone. Started a fire, said that, oh, we didn't start it, but like you could clearly see that they did.
I never heard of this.
I'm big into cults and stuff like that. So I like to like watch documentaries on them and stuff. I would really like to be a cult leader.
I think I are.
Nah, but I mean like to a stronger degree. Like when I'm older. But like it's just so fascinating to me that there's like the Heaven's Gate and stuff like that. Like when you actually strip away like all the weird stuff that's attached to it, it's like, what did these people see in this individual? What did these people see in Jim Jones and Jonestown, leaving the country to move to, like, how do you get to that point? Like, that's what I want to figure out one day. Onimusha, Way of the Sword.
This looks cool. The combat looks awesome.
Yeah. 2026 doesn't do much for me.
You hate that, yeah.
At the start of 2025, I hate it. At the start of 2025, I hate it. But it looks great. Definitely a game I will be checking out.
I like the comedic tone to it that it had. I'm not sure if that's like prevalent in the series really, but I kind of like that the main character was kind of like jokey and stuff. And I'm sure he'll find his way out, like, in the story and become more serious as it goes.
Arabic John is here. Alaikum Musalam. Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater, Delta. Looks great.
We've seen enough of it, man. We've seen enough.
Okay. First off, They said that there's more. All right, they showed the ape escape, the ape missions.
Did you see
there's
that
what?
that Bomberman is in the Xbox version
instead of
instead of Ape Escape? Yeah,
why Bomberman? What the fuck does Bomberman? They don't own Hudson
because
Soft or Konami.
Konami owns Bomberman, don't they?
Well, yeah, Konami does, but what does that have
So
to do
they
with
didn't have
Xbox?
to. I mean, they didn't have to borrow an IP from Xbox. They just replaced the Ape Escape guy with Bomberman.
I didn't see that. That's actually kind of funny.
It would have been
I did
funnier if it
notice.
was like you said, an Xbox IP. That would have been cool.
I did notice. Are you familiar with the original game?
I've played it, but I haven't beat it or anything.
Ocelot and the Sorrow look different enough for me to notice it, and I don't know how I feel about it. Like I don't think I care, but maybe I do. Like low key. Matthew Hammond with the $2 dono. Sony is better at making hardware than games. PSVR 2. Oh, we'll get into that. Don't you worry. Thank you for the donation, Matthew.
Someone said that. Medallion said the Switch 2 version will have Yoshi. Wasn't Yoshi in the 3DS version?
He was in
of the game.
Yes, and Yoshi was also in Twin Snakes.
Nice.
Hell is Us.
Oh, dude, that game looks cool.
I don't know. There was something I didn't like about it. Something I didn't like about it. Lies of P Overture, some DLC. Dreams of Another. You know what I didn't like about this one?
I can't remember what that is. Let me look.
The weird looking game, a game by Bion.
Oh, the shooting game that's not a shooter.
They say a game by Bion, and then they have Bion come and talk. Who the fuck is Bion?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Bion? And why do I care about Bion? I'm Googling Bion right now. He's a Japanese musical artist. Like, is he popping like that? Like, what are his numbers?
Maybe
Bion has 360 SoundCloud followers.
360. I thought you were going to say like 300.
Bion has 2,996 Twitter followers.
Damn.
Can I find a Bion that's popping? Bion, his YouTube channel. 246 subscribers. What am I missing here? Oh, he did Little Big Planet 2 and Pixel Giant. Okay. He's a composer for Little Big Planet. But like, who the fuck is Bion? Like, real talk, bro.
I don't know. Someone asked if Sony owned a Stellar Blade, and no, they don't. I don't believe so. They just paid for exclusivity. The game was originally announced as an Xbox game. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh,
it was originally.
Bion is a cult leader. Kevin, $5 dono. Yo, RGT, you may be proud of me for this, but I went to GameStop tonight and found Shenmue 1 and 2 for Xbox for $10. Snag that right up. You know what? As long as you play it. You've got to play it, Kevin. Keep an open mind. I love Shenmue 2. I just finished it again kind of recently. But Shenmue 1 is just... It's a good continuation if you think about Shenmue 2 as an extension of 1, because they really didn't add like too much stuff, like new mechanics into it. But like Shenmue 1, just fucking amazing. So good. Yeah, Bion. Then we finally, because Sony realized, hey, you know what? This is a first
party.
This is a Sony presentation. We've got to have some of our games on it. We gotta let people know what's coming out in 2025, because all of our games aren't dated. Wolverine, not dated. Ghost of Yotai. People seem to believe that's 2025. Maybe. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Intergalactic. That's not 2025.
That's not even probably 2026.
No. They hit us with a big one. The game that the big remaster that everyone has been asking for years now. They've been like, yo, I can't believe this game is still stuck on the PS4. They've got to bring it over to the PS5. And Sony said, you know what? God damn it. It's time to bring Days Gone over. And we're going to add...
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Bloodborne. That's what it sounded like you were leading up to.
That game...
No.
They don't care about that game except taking down fan games of it.
what's hilarious is Bloodborne's never like Days Gone already received a 60 FPS patch on PS5, and Bloodborne never did. Like, why
Right.
did that game never even receive that? But a bunch of other games that Sony published
Well,
did.
I think the code of Bloodborne is kind of spaghetti. I think that's what I've heard. But I mean, you can actually play Bloodborne at 60 frames per second on PC right now by using Shad's PS4 emulator. That emulator in like fucking 6 months, they got Bloodborne running at 60 frames and you can play through the whole game.
Crazy.
But yeah, Days Gone remaster, the game that we didn't greenlight the sequel because we weren't happy with the review numbers, but we're going to greenlight the remaster so that come April 25th, PlayStation owners will have something first party to play. They've added in a horde mode, some speed running modes. It does, to be fair, it does have the
running mode.
Yes, the $10 upgrade path. So just buy a used copy off Amazon for $5 or $10, or go to your GameStop where they have, a stack this big of it. And I don't hate Days Gone. A lot of journalists didn't like it because it was like straight white conservative male. If you remember reviews, if you look on the usual suspects, they did not like that portion of it.
And that was back then. Imagine now.
Yeah. So it's not going to review any better, Sony. I don't know if you've been reading the room or anything like that, but it just seems unnecessary.
Dude, it's totally unnecessary. Like I said, it already received a 60 FPS patch, and I remember when Ghost of Tsushima. Remember how they patched the PS4 version on PS5, so it was at 60 FPS, but it already had the PS4 Pro version, so it already ran at 4K. Basically, I don't remember the exact P. But I watched the Digital Foundry comparison, the PS4 Pro version running on PS5 with the 60 FPS patch to the native PS5 version, and they literally said it is 100% identical. You are buying essentially nothing. There's no reason to upgrade. It's the exact same thing.
There is a reason. So you get that fancy PS5 logo on the white on the box instead of the blue, because there are people like Mystic Ryan who care about that. Stellar Blade and Goddess. What the fuck? Did you die or something? Did you punch your microphone? Stellar Blade and the Goddess of Victory Nikki DLC. All right. Blueprints. Blueprints. Okay.
I don't remember what that is.
Yeah, nobody does. Abiotic Factor. All right. That horrible looking multiplayer game. Tides of Annihilation, aka White Girl Bayonetta. Because Bayonetta,
dude, this game looks cool.
But it looks like Lost Souls, and it looks like Bayonetta, and it looks like Devil May Cry, and it looks like Stellar Blade, and it looks like Black Myth Wukong. That's
but
my
we don't
point.
get those many. You used
to not. You used to not get a lot of those. Now you get them all the time.
Well, I'm glad. I'd rather have that than the 60,000 Souls game, honestly. And plus, this game looks like it's got more going on in terms of the traversal with how you're sliding and stuff.
It looks good.
And there's a Shadow of the Colossus looking monster that looks cool.
Why do I think Bayonetta is Latina? Because she's really not.
She's not.
But why do I feel like maybe it's the dark hair and the glasses?
Is she Asian
dark
or white?
Eyes. I think she's white.
Or something else.
But in my head canon, she's Latina.
I assumed white, but I don't know.
Shout outs to the over 200 people in here. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Cristobal, she's a witch. She's a white god, the big titty god waifu. Cristobal, member of the army for 30 months. I'm glad the ladies in Tides of Annihilation are actually attractive, where most games make their actual actress uglier on purpose, in my opinion. Oh, that's not really an opinion.
Well, I mean,
that's kind of
because it's not an American game, right?
Who is making this? I guess I gotta scroll.
It's usually the Americans that can't model a character.
Who is making this game? There's no features include
Annihilation.
Why doesn't it say It doesn't
It
say it
says
on the trailer.
Eclipse Glow Games. Never heard of them.
Oh, there it is.
Might be the first game.
Eclipse Glow Games. Where are y'all from? Oh, they're in China. There you go.
Yeah.
China. Metal Eden. Yeah. Here was my game of the show. Mind's Eye. Which they also did the whole hey, look, it's this guy. But like evidently he was like an old rock star guy that I was supposed to know or something like that. Yeah, I like this a lot. Summer 2025 kind of, pseudo-ish sandboxy story-driven game, but like lots of nice effects.
Dude,
and
the character models and animations look super good. Like,
yeah,
fantastic. This is also a lead designer and a few other people from Rockstar, like that worked on GTA.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
I liked the gameplay trailer more than I liked the cinematic. It's kind of like a cyberpunk GTA-ish thing. So,
yeah, it's like near future-ish, like 60 years from now or something. I don't know.
Probably like 5, honestly.
Well, they had like the things that implanted in them. I feel like we're not there in 5 years. Do you?
You never know, pal. Not with the way things are moving. Modern Vintage Gamer, our favorite British man, the big $50 dono. Thank you very much.
Didn't have anything to say.
He didn't even say anything. Nice guy. He's probably bored because I think John and Nate were doing direct Xbox stuff. But yeah, Mind's Eye was definitely my game of the show. And summer release. Don't have to wait very long. That's always a good thing. And then you know what?
Surprising.
Sony said, hey, all right, this is our show. We are going to end with a first party game. I'll get everyone excited.
Blow people's minds with some awesome gameplay, right?
Show the gameplay, show everything, show that 2025 release date. But then at the last second, that was actually a live service game. So they canceled it and they had it. They were like, we need to show something. So they showed George Soros, the game. Soros, which is from Housemarque. So essentially building upon the Returnal formula. Returnal wasn't a game for me, but I can understand its appeal. And it was a cinematic trailer, and the game comes out in 2026.
That's such a bad way to end a show, dude.
And that's how you end your show, your first Sony branded show of 2025 that took place in February. You showed me your first party titles were a remaster and a 2026 game. So if I'm a consumer, because we've already talked about, and I understand, some of these games were nice to see. Some of these games were cool announcements as multi-platforms. But I'm watching
of them are multi-platform, except like 2.
Yeah, just about. But I'm watching a Sony presentation with the mindset of Sony is not Xbox. Sony, if anything, is like Nintendo. They believe in their IPs. They believe in their first-party games. And that's why we buy their systems. I am someone, and I've said this a million times on the main channel, I am someone who plays my PS5 for the exclusives. If it's a multi-plat, I'm playing it on Xbox. I think you're the same way too.
Yeah.
And this show, as a PS5 owner, all it did was kind of make me say, well, okay, what about this year? Dude, what am I looking
forward literally
to this year?
You're not gonna have a reason to even power on your PS5 this year. I don't think. Like, I mean, that's if you only play the exclusives. If you only play the exclusives on PlayStation and you play elsewhere for everything else, there's no reason to turn on the PS5 this year.
I mean, you would think that they would have something else. I mean, they could always do an Astrobot. You know, Astrobot had a quick turnaround time.
I mean, Ghost has to be this year, right? You would assume.
You would think. Matthew Hammond, $5 donor. Sean complains all about Nintendo remasters, but at least they're on systems that are not backwards compatible with the Switch. Sony says, "Hold my beer." Well, you got a new console coming out, pal. So don't put all your eggs in the basket. But like, I really
the Venom game. Like, there's got
maybe
to be some stuff that's coming out.
maybe
this year.
that's the Astrobot situation. You would imagine that one of the live service games, Marathon or Gummy Bears or Fair Games, would be ready. But I almost feel like this is a combination of Sony being like, we have no competition. Because realistically, more than likely, Microsoft is publishing more games on PS5 than Sony is this year.
Well, dude, this came up earlier in a chat. Didn't they do that last year? They published like 6 games on PS5 last year. That's more than Sony.
And I mean, this is why I like competition, because without competition, you become complacent. And we could sit here and say all day that Sony and Nintendo are in the same sphere. And I mean, they kind of are, but they're obviously two different demographics. You know, I see today the PS5 announced 75 million units sold.
Mm-hmm.
What are people playing? Like,
I think it's just become the default console for third-party games, because Xbox did a terrible job marketing its hardware or something. I don't know. It's really weird. Someone mentioned Death Stranding. Where was that at? Like, how's that not have a date yet? I know that's not first party, so that's on Kojima, but
yeah,
still, it's exclusive.
It's an exclusive, but I mean, that's kind of the thing, is like third party exclusives have been just as important this generation than their first party ones. And it doesn't
that's mostly been what they've had, is all third party exclusives that they had to money hat because none of their studios put out games anymore.
And it just seems like
so
to me
rare.
With the PS4, it was a little more understandable. You know, it was a little bit more, you still got some first party stuff from them, but obviously games were kind of becoming larger and stuff like that. So, you know, a bit of a transition period. But with the PS5, it seems more so like the reason that this is occurring isn't because of something like that, but because of banking on all that live service shit. And you're just canceling all these, because if you have, you know, a game like Days Gone remastered, let's say Ghost of Yotai comes out in the fall, Venom comes out in the winter. All right. And then you also have 2 live service games to plug in there. It doesn't seem like a bad year. But when you take away those live service games, now that kind of middle filler content doesn't exist. So then it just looks kind of like, well, what the fuck have you been doing?
Yeah. So what I was like saying earlier, basically, is like, I was surprised by how many of the games shown in this weren't being like money hatted by Sony. Like almost all of them are coming to Xbox and PC and maybe even Switch. Like,
I mean, why should they? Why should they money hat it? What's the point?
I mean,
you're not worried about Xbox anymore. Xbox is already waving that white flag. They said, hey, you know what? Here's Indiana Jones and Horizon 5 coming this spring. You know, what's the incentive?
Yeah. I mean, I guess the upside is if PlayStation gamers watched the Xbox Direct, that's mostly all PlayStation games as well. And if Xbox gamers watched this state of play, it's all Xbox games as well. So I guess everybody's happy, but
at least Xbox admits it. At least they admit it. Sony does not. And they don't put their first party games on Xbox.
So last year, what did Sony have? Astrobot and MLB The Show, which is multi-platform. Was that their 2 games last year?
There was something else.
Oh, Stellar Blade, right? Is that last year? Well, that's not first party, but that's a timed exclusive, so yeah.
Lego Horizon Adventures,
which was on Switch and PC, but yeah.
Concord.
Oh God.
I mean, technically,
it counts.
Helldivers. You had Helldivers too.
That's true.
Again,
though, like that's not even a first party studio. Like I want to see like Sony Ben's next game. I want to see Naughty Dog. I want to see Sony Santa Monica. I want to see we see Sucker Punch's game. At least we know what their game is. But like their main studios are the ones that people care about the most. And they just like Naughty Dog's probably not going to put out a game for how long? Like, do you think there will be between The Last of Us 2 and the space game Intergalactic?
Intergalactic's not till 2027. I feel. So
don't you think that's crazy? Like, wasn't The Last of Us 2, was that 2019 or 2020?
It doesn't matter because what are you gonna do? Go buy an Xbox? Like Sony doesn't care. There's no reason for them to care, you know. And with companies getting, you know, larger development times and bigger budgets and crap like that, like it sucks because it's a different time. And I think if you weren't around during the time when, you know, because if you're older, you've kind of been conditioned. 2 years, Resident Evil 2 came out 2 years after Resident Evil 1 did. And 2 years was considered a long time for a sequel. If you get a sequel in 2 years now, the people say you're milking it. Like, it's a different time. And I try to keep that in mind. But,
well, dude,
it's hard.
Speaking of Capcom and their Resident Evil output has been crazy ever since 7. Like, it has been wild. Like, every game is of quality. 3 is debatable for some people, but like every other game has been like loved. It went 7, 2 remake, 8, 3 remake, and then there was DLC for all those, and then 4 remake, and then that's all within the span of like 5 years or like 6 years, something like that.
Well, I mean,
that's crazy.
Core, but even I mean, I was gonna say, you know, you have the core game, but like they changed up quite a few things from them. Yeah, like
they're all
Dino Crisis. Like, where the fuck is that?
I know. I would love like a high fidelity Dino Crisis remake. Like, that'd be awesome.
So overall, the state of play was something. It was not something I was interested in.
I mean, a lot of the games I'm interested in, but I don't know. I watch Sony stuff usually to see Sony's games, you know.
From a standpoint of, yes, I wanted to see Sony stuff, and I felt a bit let down in that department. And I think a lot of people, I mean, I saw a lot of Sony fans, you know, obviously Sony has their dick riders, so they're always gonna,
dude, I gotta show you,
love everything.
They posted the Days Gone remaster as their banner, and like all the PlayStation fans are like, we have to buy this so that we can support them and get a sequel to Days Gone. And I'm just thinking, guys, it's never happening.
You know what that is?
You won't buy a game you don't want. Like, just, I don't know.
You know what that is? That is a cult mentality. Sony out here teaching people how to be in the cult.
I mean, didn't they just recently say that? Was that Sony or someone at Sony that was like, if you want sequels to games, you have to buy the remasters?
Yes, Sony did.
Who said that? That's crazy,
Sony.
Dude.
And people
that's wild.
People just lap it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, I don't know. It's a weird start to the year. I think my biggest thing is, you would think it's like, you know, finally this is the year. This is the year when everything hits full motion, and it just seems like, hey, maybe that's not the case.
Yeah.
It wasn't Sony, it was Yoshida-san that said that after he retired or was about to retire. Oh, okay.
Okay. But still, it's kind of Sony.
Well, no, to be fair, every video game fan base has a cult to it. The same fucking dick riders who are like, oh, Donkey Kong Country HD returns. It's worth it. No, it's not. Stop it.
Yeah.
You weird
I
person.
had to put my foot down on that one. That was crazy.
I think the Xbox cult has diminished quite a bit though, because people just started drinking the Kool-Aid. They're like, fuck this, we're out. Drink the Kool-Aid and see you on the other side.
I mean, dude, it's still really embarrassing. Like the that game Tides of Annihilation. If you look at the trailer for the game on PlayStation's channel, it has like, let me just look, Tides of Annihilation trailer. On PlayStation's channel, it has 581K views. On Xbox's channel, it has 48K. And that's just basically the audience difference right there.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's something we've talked about before. We've got like 4 minutes left. Oh, go ahead. I didn't get to my final topic.
I mean, let's just do that. Just go ahead. Unless you want to save it for the after show.
I have another game that I think isn't as bad as people say it is. I've been playing it. It's not a great game, and I might even say it's not a good game. But I don't think
guess it?
It is a bad game. Sure.
Well, you've been on the Resident Evil train. Is it Resident Evil?
No.
Dang it. I was going to say that Resident Evil, the shooter, but that's like a co-op shooter.
Survivor on the PS1?
No, it was
on
like
the PS2?
No, it was on 360 and PS3.
The one that Maddie just reviewed?
Yeah, that one. Well, I forgot what it's called though.
Fuck that game. That game sucks dickhole. Operation
Raccoon City.
Yeah. Fuck that game. I think some of the mechanics are very well done. Production value, from the music to the voice acting to having real actors in the game, is very well done. It's part of a cinematic universe. And they have people, it's like an extension of the cinematic universe. It released on the GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2. If someone guesses it right,
is it?
I will highlight your comment. You have 2 minutes.
Is it a mob game, like based on like the mob and stuff?
Mob,
like
no.
I mean, like Scarface or Godfather or something like that.
No, because those are great games. Godfather 1 is fucking amazing. Scarface is fucking amazing.
I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember if one of them was reviewed poorly.
Mechanics that still are impressive today, that are utilized in a lot of games, still to this day.
It's a licensed game?
Licensed game? No, the Warriors is God tier. You're running out of time, people. No. You have literally a minute and 20 some odd seconds left. Part of a movie franchise.
What's the genre? Is it a shooter?
Oh, come on. About review. I mean, it's an action game.
Dang. Shrek.
No.
I just stole that from the chat.
Absolutely.
The Matrix game.
Enter the Matrix.
No. Pickle Rick said it first.
Well, Pickle Rick said it first. Well, it's Enter the Matrix. Now, Path of Neo. No, because Path of Neo is a good game. Enter the Matrix is technically not a good game. However, there is fun to be had. Solid soundtrack. Lots of different gameplay variety. Some works better than others. You could wall run. You could do like a cool little flip off the wall and then shoot people with bullet time mode. That shit is fun. Is there a lot of cheap shit in it? Yes. Are some of the checkpoints spaced out poorly? Yes. But I think there's more good than bad in it. And I am playing it at 1080p up-resed via emulation, and I'm having a good time. And I think more people need to give the game a chance. Go in with an open mind. You could buy it for cheap nowadays. Go in with an open mind. Fuck the helicopter things when you have to fight the helicopter. But when you fight the helicopter, it feels very overwhelming. However, the helicopter will only shoot at certain directions. So if you get behind cover, you can pop out, you can go into bullet time and get a lot of shots on them. I enjoy the game. I think it's fun. I am playing through as Ghost right now, and I might play as Niobe, I think her name is. I'm pretty sure. Who is Jada Pinkett Smith.
Really?
All right, folks.
Sean, now I wanted to do one more little segment at the end of every episode where I just tell the chat to go play a certain game. Can I just say that? Can I just do that? Everyone should go play the game Time Spinner. It's currently only $10, 50% off on Steam. It's a retro-inspired Metroidvania, and I feel like it's really underrated.
People are just tired of Metroidvanias, probably. Why didn't it come out on consoles? Oh, it did.
It's on Vita.
It's on Switch, PS4.
Well, there we
go.
Time
Spinner.
I've played on
$20
Vita,
on Switch.
Just had to shout that game out.
A little Super NES aesthetic. All right, folks, we're going to go over and head to the after show. If you're a channel member, you have access to that. Check the post tab, no longer called the community tab, for that link. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's a good show. Peaked over 200 viewers.
Nice.
Thank you to all the channel members and donators: Brandon, DC Fat Cat, Elliot, Zach Mack, Matthew Hammond, Kevin, Cristobal, MVG, and Matthew Hammond again. We'll be back next week. Be sure to check the post tab as well for the Q&A. If you are a squad member, I will just move the one question to the next show. We're not going to film a show just for one question. See you guys on the after show. If you don't have access to that, we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.